At Direct Service Overhead, we know how much trust you put in the individuals who have the privilege of working on the components of your home. We understand that a broken garage door is the last thing you want to be worried about, and most of the time, doors break at the most inconvenient times. Our professionally trained technicians service 24 hours a day, and our high-cycle parts are guaranteed to make a noticeable impact on your garage door without putting a damper on your wallet. If you're looking for need of assistance maintaining your current garage door, our team has the experience and expertise to deliver the results you deserve. Give Direct Service Overhead a call today or visit us online to learn more.
All right. Happy Monday. 3, 2, 1. Yo, what's going on, Hawk fans, SEC fans everywhere? Welcome to the one and only Pig Trail Network YouTube channel. I'm Ty Hudson. You guys like got the brown locks waving here in the room. It's freaking cold in this house, but I love it. I love this time of year. I don't know about you guys. Adjust there we go. Get the volume straightened out there on the microphone. I don't know about you guys. I love this time of year. It's fantastic. It's fantastic. All right. I am not excited about the time that was released for the LSU game. At the same time, I'm excited. I'm excited that it's not an 11 a.m. kickoff. I don't like that you're down in Death Valley at 6:30 and you give them raging Cajuns all the time in the world to eat their I don't know, raw shrimp and their alligators and drink up on all their moonshine down there. I'm not a big fan of that. They're going to be rowdy. Oh my gosh, all those gums and the scent of corn dogs, you're going to be able to smell that all the way up here in Fayetteville. I don't know. I'm not a fan of that, but I love that it's not an 11 a.m. kickoff. But then again, neither is this game coming up against Mississippi State. So, LSU, I get it. We don't like that it's a PM game down there. Ed Orgeron, his boys in front of their home crowd, they're gonna play. I'm sure this game is gonna mean a lot to them. It's a chance to keep the boot. I don't know. I've got mixed emotions. I kind of wish it was an 11 a.m. kickoff, but at the same time, I'm glad that it's not. I'm just glad that it's not. Look, man, I mean, whatever time. I don't care. 5 a.m., 11 a.m., 3 p.m., 6:30, 8:30, 12 o'clock. I don't care. Let's just go down there and whoop some ass. Let's beat the Tigers. But we got to take care of what's in front of us first. Mississippi State and Alabama. Let me get a little sip, the 7 brew this morning. Apparently I'm out. There's not much left. Oh, the most potent is that last drip. That's like where all the caffeine and the coffee beans, they just they huddle together at the bottom of your cup, and you take that sip, and it's like an injection. I so called that Mississippi State win over Kentucky on the last stream. Georgia breaks teams. They broke Kentucky like they did us. It's just. I also think too the East is just overrated. I think there's that too. Outside of Georgia, I think the East is just overrated. It's just not good. It's like it's Georgia, and that's the landscape of college football right now. It's like Georgia and everybody else. But here's the thing. In the same way that the offenses the last couple of years have operated, the premium, like the top shelf offenses in college football. Last year it was Alabama. The year before that it was LSU. Georgia doesn't have that, right? They're good on offense. Stetson didn't have his best game on Saturday, but I feel like you could plug in most quarterbacks who are somewhat capable, and they're going to be okay. Premium offensive line, and they're doing this without one of their key receivers, but they got key targets on offense. Pretty deep in the backfield for the most, to a degree. But it's all about their defense. That's what they are on defense. What those teams were on offense the last couple of years, Alabama and LSU, that's the equivalent. Georgia is the defensive equivalent of those teams. So, all right. Welcome, everybody. Hope you guys, again, hope you had a great weekend. Hope your Halloween was fun and safe and all that good stuff. Got a little chilly over the weekend. We went to Harbor Village in Springdale. West side of town. That's where if you live in the Fayetteville, Rogers, Springdale area, next Halloween, I'm telling you, that place, that side of town, they give up and big chocolate bars, not like the tiny crap, like the little tiny little Snickers, no, they give you like big, not like the big full size bars, but they give you the bigger ones, like the medium option, right? You have tiny. Then you have medium, then you have the actual full-size bar, then you have like the king-size bar. So, and look, I'm fat. I know the differences, right? Like I have a pyramid of how that works with those candy bars and their sizes. If we sit back and drop 8, Rogers is going to pick us apart. Yeah, so we're not focused as much on Mississippi State today, but we'll kind of bring up a little bit of what happened over the weekend. Yo, what's up, Robert? We're going to talk about all the AP top 25 scores. We'll go down the SEC and what they did this weekend. Did Arkansas, did they get better over the bye week? We know one thing's for sure. The AP doesn't seem to think so. The AP actually dropped Arkansas. I think I saw them down to 30th. Again, that's a reflection of what teams did that were behind Arkansas, who had an opportunity to look good in front of everybody while Arkansas was on their bye week. That's not a reflection of Arkansas. Are they really a top 25 caliber team? I don't know. I feel like Mississippi State's going to tell you a lot. There's a lot to unpack with this game, and again, we're going to go over that. We're going to dip more into it on probably a little bit on Wednesday. Friday is going to be our breakdown game. So do me a favor, make sure you guys like the stream. Like. If you've got any questions or comments, let me know in the comments section. If you got any questions, we do have a Discord question of the day, and I'll read that off to you and then after that we'll go into our sponsors. But the question of the day is, now, look, this is open-ended because the way Discord does their threads, It's kind of hard to explain, but there's only so many words you can use in that description, right? You can't make it too wordy. I prefer to keep it like 10 words or under, and then period or question mark, preferably, because it's a question of the day. The question of the day, and it's a little vague, but I think you guys got the gist of it. Which Razorback unit improves most after the bye week? From here on out, who improves the most coming out of the bye week, the offense, the defense, the special teams, or option D, none of the above? Maybe there's no real movement. And I don't like to compare what they did last year because last year was just a different set of circumstances. You played 10 SEC games. You know that the wear and tear is a little bit different versus, going into your bye week after playing UAPB, right? A little bit different. You feel like you really had a week and a half, maybe even arguably 2 weeks, where you're just really preparing for Mississippi State or you're preparing for the rest of the season. I don't think Sam would ever – I don't know that he would ever tell anyone that. I don't know. Maybe not. These players seem to kind of tell you what's going on. They're somewhat – when the media asks these questions, they're somewhat transparent for the most part. But then again, we've talked about the injuries. We don't know what's really going on. We won't know. I guarantee you we're going to find out next spring or next fall. Oh, by the way, Morgan was playing with a broken, tailbone. Bumper Pull was playing. He cracked those ribs again. And also he had a UTI. I'm kidding. Someone had mono, but we let them play, or they were limited. I don't know. You know how this is going to go. We're not going to know a damn thing until next fall camp. Similar to how we just found out about Bumper Pull cracking his ribs. We didn't know about that. We had no idea he was playing with cracked ribs until the end of fall camp. I think it's when Pittman released that. So, he played with he cracked his ribs. Oh, okay. How did we not know that? Every media member that I had an opportunity to talk to about that said the same thing. I had no idea. You couldn't tell. His production didn't drop off much. He led the country in tackles, or was it the league? I can't remember, or the SEC. Regardless, he led one category or another in tackles, or one specified media outlet or whatever who didn't report on it about his ribs. No one had any idea what exactly was going on with Bumper, yet we saw his production increase. Like, we knew as soon as Catalan, after that A&M game, we saw his production drop. We knew, okay, something's going on. Something's up with Catalan. He did something to his hand. We saw him holding it, and he's not been the same since. It was different with Poole, where his production, but it's a different kind of injury, right? I guess you could play with your ribs. I had my ribs stepped on my sophomore year in high school. I think it was Springdale. I got the opportunity to start that game. It was a sophomore. You had your sophomore, and then you had your Friday nights. This was with the sophomore team. If I remember right, we played on Monday nights. But another Springdale kid stepped on my ribs. I'll never forget it. And to this day, I didn't think much of it. And now that I'm older, I'm still real, they still hurt. Like, I can't, when my kids crawl on me, it hurts my sides. If I'm like laying on the couch and they crawl on my side, I'm like, oh God, stop. So, but Bumper Pool played through that, right? Catalan clearly can't with a broken hand, and I think his shoulder as well. Good news, too, this week. You got Dalton Wagner, Utsy's, both those guys are going to be back. I'm feeling pretty good about injuries. I don't know about you guys. I feel like they're coming out like about where you want them to be with who's available, with who they can bring back. So, okay, yeah, sponsors really quick here. Let's get to that. Let's get to sponsors. Let's get to the sponsors here really fast. Direct service overhead, Travis Ford, who is in chat, give him a call. His website is located, or there's a link to his website down below in our description box. They will repair or replace your garage door. We've showed their work before. They do good work, man. But if you know anybody, maybe a contractor, someone who's building a house, something, give those guys a call. If he's still in chat, Travis, tell me if you're still honoring the 10% if you mention Pig Trail, or if you mention Ty Hudson, or I don't know if that's still going on. I think it is. He hasn't told me it's not, so I'm going to assume that it is. But again, it's going to be 10% off. That's a pretty good chunk of change. We talk about the kind of work that's got to be done when you're replacing a garage door. So don't, if you're doing that, if you're in that area where you need some work done on your door, give those guys a call. Give them a call. Check out their link. State Apparel, who sell the softest shirts in the world, right here, made right here in the state of Arkansas. I hope you guys went and no one said whether or not they went and checked them out down in Little Rock or not, or down in Benton, but they do have a brick and mortar store in the downtown Benton area. They sell Southern Marsh and native clothing brands also, and they've got a pretty cool inventory of stuff. If you check out their website, that link is also provided for you down below in the description box. Travis says, yes, sir. Code word Flamingo Friday. There you go. I keep getting asked to bring that back, and I'm like, I don't know. Yo, Woo Pigsui. Yes, sir. This is Big L. What's up, man? Hope you're doing well. I'm not super concerned with LSU kickoff game or time. Their crowd isn't as good this year versus previous. Well, Ed Orgeron is out the door. Maybe that has something to do with it. Shout out to Coach Traylor. Yeah, so I was going to talk about that. He got I don't know the details. I just saw that this morning, but he got a contract extension at UTSA. I think it's extended 10 years. Now, I'm sure the verbiage in that contract is going to be something like, however many wins this year or however many losses, whatever. There's going to be the verbiage in that contract is going to matter, right? But it is an extension, and I think I read it was just north of $2.5 million, the extension in terms of year by year. So it's a pretty sizable extension, like 20-something million. So, and I don't know how much of it's guaranteed. I haven't looked over it, but it seems to me like UTSA apparently has some money, and they want Trailer there for a while. I'm curious what they do with Barry Lunny. Where are they? Where are they ranked in offense? Someone has to look that up. I was looking at red zone offense, and I thought Arkansas was actually lower than they were. They're 48th in the country. I thought they were – for some reason I thought they'd be like 60th, but they're 48th, which isn't terrible, but it's not great. Let's take a look. Where is UTSA in total offense? Let's look. Total offense. They've got to be – I think they're somewhere in the top 40. I thought I saw – but that's been a little bit since I looked them up. UTSA 35th in the country in total offense. They're averaging roughly about 6 yards per play, 441 yards per game. Arkansas, of course, is going to drop back a little bit because they're coming out of a bye week. Oh no, they didn't. They're stayed about the same, 18th. That's based on 8 games. You still have teams that have played 9: Fresno State, Oklahoma, Nebraska, but Arkansas at 8 games at 18th. So UTSA still trailing. So Barry Lunny, for those of you who've talked about Barry Lunny possibly replacing Kendall Briles, who could be out the door. So, yeah, answer the Discord question. Again, it's which Razorback unit improves the most after the bye week. Let's answer these really quick. Turkey Twister says secondary. I like what he's doing there. Exactly. I like that. I disagree because the secondary's actually been pretty good. But the fact that he went to that unit, so he got what I was saying there. I wasn't too specific. But again, it was from here on out who improves the most, the offense. And what I should have said was like the offensive line. I typed that up in a hurry if you couldn't tell. Jay Hawes says our offense has been putting up numbers hard to out fantastic. Defense is honestly where we need to see the improvement. Special teams has been average at best. Here's hoping we can get some pass rush to force mistakes or good enough coverage to force sacks. I would lean on it being mostly the fault of not getting pressure on the opposing quarterback versus the secondary not. Look, there have been some blown plays for sure in coverage. I'm not going to deny that. But overall, the secondary has been – I mean, guys, you've been top 10 most of the year in passing yards allowed, and that includes after playing Texas A&M, Georgia, and Ole Miss. I think going into Auburn, you were 9th in the – so let's be real here. Without any real pass rush, secondary has actually been pretty legit. Are they great? No, they're not great, especially without – that's the question is how they respond without Catalan, right? But I would argue it's the other way around, that the lack of pressuring quarterbacks. Arkansas, one of the worst quarterback hurry teams in the country, and we know they're bottom. I think they're somewhere around 115 in sacks. Guys, that's terrible. Definitely far from elite. You see how these people, they're gone. They're gone. But they tell me, I hope you're here, Ty, when you're wrong. I'm here, buddy. Where are you? So, Dante Marine says, I feel the defense is due for a breakout game. The offense has been humming as of late. Special teams is going to do what they normally do. Special teams play still making mistakes. Even in games where they flourish, the one game where they've really flourished, which was UAPB, they still made some mistakes. They make mistakes week in and week out. You're either forced to burn timeouts or you're taking penalties with punt team or punt coverage or whatever. Punt coverage has been mostly good. Punt return has been non-existent until UAPB, and then all of a sudden you're I know someone's going to use that against me. Well, Ty. Well, Ty, they were top 10 at one point in the season in punt return yardage. Bro, that was in one game, and it was pretty fantastic, but it was against who? UAPB. Where do they play? What are we talking about here? I know someone's going to come. Before that game, you weren't sniffing anywhere near being a respectable punt return team. Broham says the defense rebounds and is the reason we go 2-2 the last 4 games, being competitive in 3 of the 4. Eagle says defense, D-line specifically. So that's a good approach when you think about we saw them go with a multiple front against Auburn, mostly a 4-man front against Auburn, and you saw how effective it was against the run. They still couldn't get much pressure on Bo Nix. It's like my concern was, okay, if they get some pressure, Bo Nix is gonna burn you outside of the pocket. What do you do then? How well is your outside containment? How well do they play the edge and not let him scramble out and throw a dart downfield for 10 or 15 yards? That's not what happened. He just sat back in the pocket and delivered throws. He came out of the pocket a little bit. It's not to say that he didn't at all, but I think most of his passes were were in the pocket, not out of, but in the pocket. You have no pass rush. There's no pass rush to speak of. You're one of the worst. You want to know why? Not only is Ole Miss's offense really damn good, I would argue elite, which is hard to fathom with year 2 with Lane Kiffin. He's trending more positive year 2 than Bobby Petrino was year 2 with Ryan Mallett. Think about that. That's how effective Lane Kiffin has been at Ole Miss. Helps that he had Matt Corral and Drummond, who, by the way, we need to get an update on him. Drummond went out in their loss against Auburn. But again, there was no pass rush. But what makes Ole Miss great, for Arkansas there's no pass rush. What makes Ole Miss great, not only do they have an elite offense, they're like top 3 in the SEC in quarterback hurries. I think they led the SEC for like 2 weeks in sacks this year. It's incredible what they're doing. They're not that good of a defense, but they can get pressure and put their offense in a position to get the ball back in pretty good field position because they're able to get to the quarterback and make plays in the backfield. And they're a pretty decent tackle for loss defense last I looked, which was like 2 weeks ago. Looking at their numbers. That's why Ole Miss is a 2-loss team right now. That's the difference between, I think, Ole Miss and Arkansas is, Arkansas's offense is really damn good. It's effective, especially on the ground. They're one of the top 8 rush offenses in the country. They're top 25, top 20 offense in the country, which is good considering who you've played. But where's their Achilles? We talked about this on Friday. It's their lack of disruption in the backfield. It's their lack of any kind of real threat of getting to a quarterback. That's the difference. And Ole Miss's defense overall, at times this year, maybe most of the year, has been horrible. Bottom 4 in like every category except getting to the quarterback. That's the difference, man. When you got a couple of guys that are a problem every week that you got to deal with as an offensive line coach or as an offense coordinator, and you're looking at their pass rush, and you're like, oh, hell. These guys get pressure out of the 3 and 4-man fronts. Like, we're in trouble. They run multiple sets on the defense up front, on their front 6, front 7. They not only are they smart when they blitz, they can be aggressive. rarely. I mean, yeah, and that's one of the reasons why they give up a lot of yardage, because they get burned sometimes when they blitz. But anyways, I didn't get a chance to watch much football this weekend at all. Blame my wife. I'm kidding. Yeah, for my daughter's 7th, my youngest kid, Adeline, we went to the aquarium in Springfield, Missouri at Bass Pro Shop. I don't know if you guys have ever been there. Oh, my God. Yeah, you spend like $150, but it takes you a legit. And, I mean, we walked through it somewhat, not fast, at a pretty decent pace. It took us 3 hours, and I don't think did we go through the whole thing? They have a really cool NASCAR section with all the Bass Pro cars. Look, I was raised on NASCAR, not even going to lie about it. Every Sunday, we'd come home from Springdale Baptist Church, watching Pastor Floyd give his sermon, and the first thing we did was we'd go home, and my dad and I would watch NASCAR race. I got to say, I'm still, I don't keep up with it, but it was really cool to see all their collection of cars, their Bass Pro cars. It's really cool. I took some video. I'm going to post some stuff on Facebook, but I was kind of blown away. And it makes me automatically, I was telling both my daughters, I was like, I got to take you guys to a race. I've been to Charlotte. I think I've been to Charlotte twice, and Fort Worth. Been to Fort Worth. I want to go to Bristol because it's bumper to bumper, small track. I don't want to go to Daytona or Talladega. You're talking about a huge track, so I don't want to go to those. Pocono. I don't want to go to those tracks. I want to go to like Charlotte was perfect. It was perfect. Like, you got high enough, you could see most of the track. We saw both times we went, we had wrecks like almost on the same strip that we were on. A lot of fun. But anyways, blown away. Didn't get a chance, but my wife planned this thing out months in advance, and really we had a good time up there. It was really fun. I did catch some of that Auburn Ole Miss game, and Auburn. Year one, man, they're killing it. They're doing a really good job. Auburn is just solid on both sides of the ball. Bo Nix, what's funny is Bo Nix is doing what I thought we would see out of him last year, even though, look, Chad Morris is terrible. I get it. But as an offensive coordinator, what he did at Clemson was honestly pretty damn good. I think they went from like 23 points a game to like 36 points a game or something from the year that that Dabo didn't have Chad to the year he had Chad. So I thought, all right, combined with a solid run with a solid backfield, we knew they had something in Tank Bigsby in that backfield. Bo Nix is back. I felt like, okay, they're going to be pretty damn good. And that's why I liked them a lot last year going into the year. Ended up, Auburn fans tell me what happened was, in fact, that Gus never really fully handed over play calling responsibilities. And I would argue, is that hard to blame him? Because obviously Chad Morris is terrible. But now we're seeing Bo Nix, like, this is what I thought he could do. We've always known he was a capable quarterback. We just never really saw it. And then, of course, he plays Arkansas. He's one of the lowest percentage completion quarterbacks. And what does he do? Since that Arkansas game, they're playing so much better. You got to give Auburn a lot of credit, man. They're getting it turned around. The Iron Bowl all of a sudden has gotten really interesting if they continue to look like they have from here on out. So, yeah. Where do you guys think also – hold on. I wish Georgia would have been our last game of the season, not mid-season. I don't know, man. Bristol night race is cool. I've always wanted to go to Bristol, man. I don't want to go to Daytona. I don't want to go to Talladega. I want to go to Bristol. Just got the notification. Better late than never. Woo pig suey. Time to neuter those dogs. Nix just drives defense crazy. He's so hard to get a hold of. He's slippery. He extends plays. And what's funny is he's usually at his worst when he stands back in the pocket. That's when he's at his worst, at least what games I've seen. And then again, since Arkansas, he's just kind of turned the light bulb on. I don't know. Don't matter what defense coordinator you have. Don't matter what defense coordinator you have. Can't play for the players. Oh, okay, so are we – all right. Need good defense, need good defensive ends, or they can do what they want on offense. Matt Corral went out, too, with an ankle. Yeah, he did come back. If Corral ever gets truly hurt, they're screwed. Didn't their backup quarterback come in and throw for, like, 5 for 5? Didn't he look pretty good, actually? Recently, we have also been bad against the run. Go back against Auburn. James Whittington, go back against Auburn. It was actually pretty solid, that four-man front. But most of the year, yeah, their run defense hasn't been great. Does Barry Does Barry get let go after this season? I see it happening. Boy, Manny, I don't know about all that. Manny. Where are you going, man? You think they're going to fire Barry Odom? No, of course not. And now you'd have to have a complete meltdown these last several games, right? I mean, you'd have to give up just, which could happen. I'm not going to argue that it couldn't. You're about to play a really experienced, a good quarterback at Mississippi State. Really, in terms of SEC play, he's got the experience under his belt. This isn't, I feel like most of his success this year has come against inexperienced quarterbacks. And now you're going up against a guy that has some experience. He's got some time under his belt in that Mississippi State air raid offense. Where is Mississippi State in total offense, by the way? I'm doing my breakdown on Friday. I really don't even like talking about their numbers until Friday. I thought they were somewhere floating around the top 40. Are they not? 46th. Okay, they're 46th. So again, we'll talk about that game on Friday. Give you my picks. I told you I was going to give you my expectations for the rest of the season. I'm going to wait till Friday. All right, my bad. It's my bad. I thought about that over the weekend, and I was like, wait, no. Because if I give them my expectations, then that'll lead them to already kind of know what I'm betting for this Mississippi State matchup, and I don't want to do that. I want to wait till Friday. So I'll give you my expectations on Friday. All right, coaching changes. Where are you at, coaching changes? Been a lot. I don't know if you guys noticed. Georgia Southern, all right, we'll start with the small fries. Chad Lunsford, Kevin Whiteley, those guys are both out at Georgia Southern. UConn let go of Randy Edsel and Lou Spanos. Washington State fired Nick Rolovich, apparently, and Jake Dickert. Clay Helton was out at USC. Gary Patterson, the newest coaching fire, the latest, I should say, done. Gary Patterson out. Of course, we know about Ed Orgeron. But yeah, Matt. So the Big 12, or as I call them, the small few. And Gary Patterson, Matt Wells, Sonny Cumbie, they're all out. They're gone. But Gary Patterson being out was shocking, considering what he did at TCU, the time he spent. I've read kind of multiple reports that actually stepped down, but then the breaking news I got said that he was fired. So I don't know. One way or another, he's not back. We know that much. So what are the odds that Kendall Briles is back next year? I don't know, man. Texas Tech and now TCU. We know that's his backyard. The Briles family, that's their backyard, right? The state of Texas. And when you talk about those kind of, we get into the tier talk. I don't like tier talk because I think it changes, every 2-3 years. I think these tiers change, right? Who would have thought Cincinnati would still be, where would you put Cincinnati? What tier? This year, they're pretty damn high. They're playing some pretty decent football, no doubt. Put them in the SEC West. I think they've got 2-3 losses under their belt. You could say that about anybody, though. But those tier 2 Texas teams, whatever you want to call them, in the Big 12 and whatever, those are high profile jobs within the state of Texas. TCU obviously is. We know Texas Tech is responsible for some great NFL talent over the years. What are the odds that look, what about Washington State? They might roll the dice. I don't think USC. I'd be surprised if USC went after Kendall. But one of those Texas jobs, you just feel like they've probably. And I don't know what the rules are too. By the way, if the NCAA says that you can or can't contact a coach while they're in mid-season, I think you're not supposed to be able to. But I don't know. I don't know how that works. There's a difference between directly contacting a coordinator or talking to his agent, which is what's probably going on. A proxy, right? The agent acts as a proxy for that coach that he's representing. That's their job. So there's no doubt in my mind that there's probably some contact going on one way or another, whether you're supposed to or not. I don't know, man. We know that thanks to emails that were leaked from South Carolina last year that Kendall Briles was on their list, was someone that they had brought up and talked about. He's already been linked to the Texas Tech job. If you can say what you want about message boards, whatever, but sometimes they can be a reflection of who the fan base is interested in. Kendall's put together a pretty good year. It's astonishing to me that people want him out. It's weird. It's like we forgot the last 4 or 5 years of what we've seen on offense. It's like we've forgotten like how far Arkansas's come. Like, man, they're a top 8 rushing offense after playing one of the most brutal stretches in college football, period, in the entire landscape, and you're still considered a top 10 rushing offense. I think they're top 20 in total offense. Do I have to go over the list of teams that they've played for some people? I feel like I do. Texas A&M. Say what you want about Georgia, but you did play them. It was a horrible performance. I agree, but still, that game didn't do enough to knock them far back out of the total offense category, right? And then Ole Miss and Auburn. I mean, that's incredible. He kept them in the top 20. And hell, as a matter of fact, coming out of a couple of those games, a couple of tough losses, you actually moved up in total offense. And you want to get rid of Kendall? Like, what? What are you talking about? Like, I'll admit, like I said, his first and third down play calling are questionable. I think he has, and I mentioned this Friday, and I talked about it with some other friends of mine. I think his play calling or situational awareness is troubling at times. Red zone offenses should be a lot better. I think they ought to be somewhere in the top 25, top 30 with what you have, with the weapons that you have on offense. There's no excuse for them to be where I think they're somewhere floating around like 50th or something in red zone offense. Dude, that. I agree with that. There's some things here that are questionable, but to act like you want Kendall gone, like what? Do you think you're going to do better? Do you think Loggins, for some people who think that he might be the next guy in waiting, the current tight end coach, do you think he's going to come in and do a better job than that? Maybe. He is going to have a lot of talent at running back, assuming these guys don't transfer. And KJ. You're going to lose Burks. There's a lot of questions about what's going on at the wide receiver position next year, but we'll see. I don't know. It's weird to me to hear that. It's like people have forgotten how bad Arkansas was on offense for the last 4 or 5 years. They haven't been this in any offensive category. They've not scratched the surface of where they're at right now since, I don't know, 2015? With Brandon Allen his last year, or before that it was going back to the Petrino era. That's what you have right now, and you just want to shoo that away, like go back to the Big 12. What? What are you talking about? No. You need to do everything you can to keep him, and yes, hope that they improve in certain areas. Third down offense is not very good. My worry is you're not going to get someone better. It's not so much that Kendall's like this elite, phenomenal offense coordinator. I think he does have a great offensive mind, but you could probably say that about 90% of offensive coordinators in college football. What's the news drop that you said Friday? I forgot. I don't know. Yeah, we're not firing Odom. That's crazy. That's crazy. They're not going to fire Odom. Hold on. I got a sneeze coming. I feel it. It's like there, It's like right there. It went away. All right. I don't know. I don't remember what we talked about on Friday. I really don't. Franklin to USC, Tucker to LSU. I could see Franklin. Did you see his response when he asked? It was weird. Man, if Odom does move on to bigger and better, Patterson would be a great replacement. Yeah, you wonder sometimes these guys that were known for being great defensive minds, remember what we all thought about Chief? And I'm not saying Patterson would be worse than Chief. All right? I'm not saying that. John Chavis just clearly was so far out of his league. And the defensive talent was terrible. There's no doubt about that. but they were awful. Like, you could name about 4 other coordinators that could have done a better job that had previously coached at Arkansas. Reggie Herring comes to mind. There's a number. There's a number of them. It was terrible. I don't know that someone like Patterson, if Odom, and look, someone could offer him to be a head coach. I mean, that could absolutely happen. Although, I mean, there's been one that offered him the same job at a bigger gig, and he turned it down. But someone might come along, and it might be the right fit for him. And then you're left asking yourself, what do you do at both coordinator spots? And maybe you do go after Gary Patterson, but you got to imagine he's also going to make a lot of other short lists. I would take Gary Patterson, though. I wouldn't argue against that. I'd actually be all for it. You just wonder, like, are some of those old dogs that used to just be so unbelievably good at what they did before, and now they're a little bit older, and it seems like maybe their days have kind of long passed. Not all guys are that way. Not all those guys that are that age are that way. And I'm not trying to be an ageist here, but you just wonder if their better days have kind of, maybe what's going on with their head coaching career, like Gary Patterson's. Maybe there's a reason for that. TCU should absolutely be a team that's winning 9 games a year. That's where they should be. But I am surprised they fired him. Hogs are undefeated when not playing at 11 a.m., says Will. Well, I hope you're doing well, man. I hope you're all right. Sorry I'm behind on chat. More likely for Bryles to leave right now than Odom, right? Yeah, I would say so. I want to keep both of them another year. It's going to be hard to do. Bryles is great. Barry is good. Right now, I think that's where you'd have to put them. It's hard to judge this year with the injuries they stacked up on defense, but yeah, they've had a severe issue with pass rush, and at times their run defense was just terrible. Assuming we make a bowl game, they're going to make a bowl game, Will. Come on. Us playing Clemson would be interesting. Based on our past few coaches, we should be praising these coaches, not calling for their heads. Red zone offense would be higher if we didn't go for it several times on 4th downs, in my opinion. I don't think you're wrong there. I don't think you're wrong at all there. But the red zone offense, a total red zone offense, this is a reflection of some of Kendall's issues. And last year it was apparent that they have some problems in the red zone. I think they were bottom of the SEC in red zone offense, or bottom 4. This year, not much has changed. It's like in between the 20s, they play pretty good offensive football, right? But it feels like his situational awareness is lacking when he gets in the red zone. I don't know. You said something about the channel. Oh, I did. I'm glad you brought that up. There is some breaking news for the PTN. We're going to get to that in just a second. I'd also talked about – yeah, I forgot all about that. So we ran into an issue. I don't want to give it away. I ran into an issue Friday for the news that was going to be breaking to the channel. It's pretty big news. I'll tell you what. Let me hang on because I don't have the paperwork in front of me, but I'm gonna be right back. Give me just a second, okay? You guys. Oh Lord, not the advertisements. There we go. Hang out just a second. Give me like 30 seconds. Give me fuel. Give me fire. Give me that. Turn up the radio. All right. Okay. Oh. So, I had. Oh, let me move my. You get over here. So I ran into an issue on Friday, but I knew I was picking up some pretty important paperwork involving the channel. Now, some of you, Will probably knows where I'm going with this. Well, let me scroll down here where we're at. How unprofessional. I know, right? What do you expect, right? Like, it's just me in my little studio room. All right, we have some pretty important paperwork here involving the PTN. Breaking news: Von Miller to Rams for wait, really? Are you serious? No, don't break out that kind of news with my ADD ass. Hold up. Holy crap! They got Von Miller. Oh, dude, did you see what they did to the poor Texans over the weekend? Oh, my God, that just made my day. This is going to make my day, too, though. I'm excited about this. That's huge, man. Holy cow. What did they give up? Second and third round draft pick. Is it this year? 2022 draft? Dude, okay. Man, I'm on cloud 9 now. Holy crap. I kind of thought they would go out and look for a running back because since the Cam Akers deal. All right. So, Friday, I've been working on this for a while, but the Pig Trail Media, or the Pig Trail Network is officially, we got our LLC. We are officially This is huge. This is official. This is legit. Pig Trail got that Arkansas state of approval. That doesn't give any information away, does it? I don't think so. No. State of Arkansas, right there. See it at the top. We are official. We got our LLC. That's the big news. Been waiting on this. Now, the issue we ran into, and I won't go too far down the rabbit hole on this, but the Pig Trail, so Pig Space Trail, was it wasn't available because it was, I guess, I don't understand the specifics. So it does say Pig Trail Media. It's not three separate words. It's Pig Trail Media. That was one of the things that kind of we ran into on Friday. And I wasn't sure if we were going to try and get that fixed or what we're going to do. But the point is, we got our, for those of you who understand this sort of stuff, we got our employer identification number, the EID, and we have our official certificate for an LLC. That's it, man. That's huge. That's huge. I can't, it's hard to put into words. I'm glad that we got it. That's all I'll say. We got it. We did it. And yeah. So, proud of this channel. You guys have helped me get here, man. I mean, it looks like we're going to pass the 20 mark on Patreon supporters, which is just huge. Pig Space Trail, the Space, the Final Frontier, those are the voyages of Ty and his Hog fans. I appreciate that. Congrats. Rams are going to the Super Bowl. Yeah. I really thought they'd go after a running back, but I mean, there's such a dime a dozen these days. So I appreciate the kind words, guys. He sure can. He's proven I just didn't know he was radioactive or not. Not in the loop, just curious. Keep up the good work. I appreciate that, guys. I really do. Thank you. That means a lot. I've been working on that for a while. Will, actually, I got to give a shout out to Will. I don't know if he's still here or not. But Will helped me set up. For those of you who are looking to get into content creation, this is something that's really far down the road. You want to make sure you're invested into it and everything. And it's really not that challenging. You can do, was it LegalZoom or whatever? I actually went through a CPA. There's a firm here in Fayetteville that I went through that helped me set all this up. But Will helped me out with my my operating agreement. So yeah, I'm on cloud 9 today. Holy cow, and that Von Miller news is huge, man. Wow. What a day. Yeah, Friday I was doing backflips, and then I noticed, I had this conversation with my CPA about the name, and he was like, you're fine. You're good. It's just going to say Pig Trail, one word, media. So, all right. In case you guys are wondering, I did not just crack open a beer. It's too early in the day for me. This is a Rehab. It's one of their teas. It's a tea. Look at that. It is so good. It's hard to find. I've talked to you guys about this before. It's hard to find the raspberry. Can't find it. That's my favorite. But the lemonade is so good. It's so good. Zero, like 6 grams of sugar. 6% sugar. Only 7 grams of carbs. Pretty damn good, man. All right. So that was the news. You're right. I'm glad. I think it was Eagle that brought that up. I had forgotten about it, and one of the reasons, I didn't forget about it. I remembered. I just didn't know if we are going to try and fix that headline or the Pig Trail Media part, and I didn't know if I wanted to wait on that, but I did, and then it slipped my mind as I was doing notes for the show. All right, also, so we still got more show, but I do appreciate the kind words. I legitimately thought the lighting on the background was from Windows. Nice background lighting, though. Oh. Yeah, thank you. Appreciate that. This is not... I have some other ideas, but my wife not entirely on board, so that's going to be changing as we continue to move. Arkansas played North Texas in an exhibition. I'm not going to lie to you. I just have a hard time giving a lot of it's an exhibition, right? They didn't have Jalen Williams this weekend. I think they were missing a couple of guys. They didn't have Jalen. I know the numbers weren't super great. I think they only won by 8. Something else I missed over the weekend. It was not, I think you could only listen to it, right? Nobody was streaming it. But apparently Ahmoud kind of, had some pretty good production, right? He did pretty well. But J.D. Note was big for them. That guy shot 7 of 8 at the free throw line, 4 of 7, if I'm reading that right, from three-point range, 5 of 14 field goal. He ended up with 36 minutes logged. If you look at the rotation, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 total players rotated. I want to say for their previous matchup, did I say North Texas, by the way? I'm sorry if I didn't. Yeah, their exhibition was against North Texas. Yeah, North Texas. I hope I didn't say Northwestern. Sorry. North Texas. I think the previous game, they only ended up with they rotated 7 or 8. So we saw an extra body in there, and that's without Jalen. So that's comforting. It's good to see Ahmoud get the kind of production that he got. And again, J.D. Note, I don't know where you're at if J.D. Note is your leading scorer week to week. And I'm not trying to dish J.D. Note. I just don't know how to feel if that is the case. Now, if you're winning, clearly we're not going to mind. Note, his shot selection he has a reputation, right? Devo ended up with 20 minutes. He was 3 for 8 from the floor, 0 for 1 at three-point range. Jackson Robinson got a little bit. I think he ended up with last week. What did he end up? 5 minutes on the floor, I think. This week he ended up with 14. Chris Likes with 24 minutes on the floor. Likes was 3 for 7. I mean, he had some pretty good production too. He was 7 of 8 at the free throw line, 1 for 2 at three-point range. Who ends up taking over that point guard role? Robinson, 18 minutes logged on the floor. And Trey Wade, we keep forgetting about him. 16 minutes, 46 seconds logged. He, 3 of 5 at the free throw line. What matters here is their free throw percentage free throw shooting percentage was so much better. Like I've said, every year I've done this show, when I started doing the show, technically this is the first year I've called it a show, but as long as I've been doing lives covering basketball, I've said it and I've been pretty consistent. You want to be north of 73, 74% at the free throw line. That's really solid if you're hovering around 75%. They shot 73-1, which isn't terrible. The biggest deal here, though, I love that improvement at the free throw line. You shot almost 39% at three-point range, and that's not on 10 attempts. That's not 7, 8, 9 attempts. That's 18 attempts. They were 7 of 18. That's really good to see. They shot 42% overall from the floor. Looks like they were bad in the second half, and this was something someone had brought up on Twitter. Should the second half shooting at three-point range terrify us? Because you went 0 for 6. But in the first half, you were 7 of 12. So, I don't know. And I don't know what the rotation looked like in the second half. Because, again, didn't get to listen to it. We were preoccupied. But Arkansas does find a way. I mean, they won this. I think they had as much of I think their biggest lead was, I think someone said it was 16 points, I think. Again, don't quote me. But they ended up winning by 8. They have UMT on the stat sheet here. That's funny. UNT, North Texas. But they ended up winning 68-60. They led at half 42-28. And again, they scored 26 points in the second half. So it looks to me like they rotated out some of their less experienced or more of their experimental players, I think, in the second half. I don't know. They only scored 26 in the second half compared to 42. So that's a pretty big difference in margin. But North Texas ended up scoring 32 in the second half. So there were a total of 5 lead changes, 0 ties. So Arkansas did get 20 off their bench. So, yeah, they definitely rotated their twos a little bit more in the second half by the looks of it. But it's good to see Yamud and J.D. Note and Devo kind of log those kind of minutes. Tony ended up with 35-47. So that's good rotation. You'll take it. So yeah, you're 2-0 in exhibition play. So you have week 1. Who's it? Mercer? Is that who it is? Let's pull that up here really quick. Pretty sure it's Mercer. Week 1. So, yeah, you won. You beat East Central 77-74. You beat North Texas 68-60. Tuesday, November 9th, 7 p.m. at Bud Walton Arena, taking on Mercer. And then after that, on the 13th, you turn around, you play Gardner-Webb. And then the 17th, you got Northern Iowa. And then you play in the Hall of Fame Classic, Kansas City, Missouri, at the T-Mobile Center. That is going to be interesting to see how that one unfolds. So, and then after that, you play Penn. You come home on the 28th. And then December 1st, you play UCA. I'm a little surprised they're not playing that one in Little Rock. They're playing both UCA and Little Rock back-to-back weeks. And I didn't even catch that until they, like a few days after they released their schedule. I was like, well, isn't that convenient? But you're playing both them in Fayetteville at Bud Walton Arena, Central Arkansas and Little Rock. So you're going to get tested out the gate with that with the Hall of Fame Classic. And then you turn around. I'm sure there's going to be some teams. Little Rock can be scrappy. UCA, I don't know much about them this year. We know Little Rock, the Trojans can be scrappy. But then you got another test December 11th against Oklahoma, which that'll be December 11th, 12:30 p.m. And that one right now is slated for ESPN2. And then you start up conference play a little while later against Mississippi State in Starkville on the 29th, 8 p.m. SEC Network. So, yeah. Exciting week. So, and we're gonna finish this one out. We're at the 58-minute mark. Perfect. Likes is just a spark off the bench. I wonder if that's not what they do. If they just rotate him and there's 2 or 3 options at that spot. But if he doesn't just come off the bench and provide that kind of spark, Mississippi State impressed me last Saturday. Going to be tough. Going to be a tough game at home. We have to figure out a way to pressure the quarterback. Boy, if that isn't the story of 2021 for Razorback football, I don't know what is. Can they get pressure on the opposing quarterback? When healthy, this team can take over a game in a hurry. Are you talking about Razorback basketball or football? Flying Von Miller to the Rams. Yeah, we covered that. I can't believe it, man. I am holy crap. Since the start of the season, I'm just going to say that's been my background since the start of the season, man. Oh, well. Mathew Stafford. In Mathew Stafford, I trust. Mercer November 9th. Right. Okay. All right. So we're going to call it. We will Wednesday. We're going to have some I'm going to have some questions for you guys. I don't know what we're going to do on the Wednesday show just yet. Again, really excited about this LLC, man. I mean, I'm stoked. I am absolutely stoked. And I don't like having to do anything through the state. Not a fan of that, but I'm glad that the state of Arkansas was so kind enough to allow me to for me to do this. So, yeah, excited about that. And, again, shout out to Will who helped me set up my operating agreement also. Will, you're the man. I appreciate the help. And to you guys in chat and to the Patreon supporters and sponsors, you helped me get here. And we're just going to continue to grow. Basketball is going to be special this year, man. It's just going to be huge. I'm not saying they're going to be special. I just feel like this year is going to be, it's going to be special for the channel because now there's a focus. We have the show set in place Monday, Wednesdays, Fridays. We'll see if there's any changes going into as we, get ready for full-time basketball. I don't know if there's going to be time changes on the channel or not. I will let you guys know if there are. I've had some people tell me you need to do the show later because a lot of people get off work and they're going to want to participate in these live shows. But you know what? We're going to do the post-game shows. Every game that I'm able to watch. Now, I don't know how many of these, the beginning of the season, these non-con games we're going to be able to watch. According to the website, according to ArkansasRazorbacks.com, there should be several that are available. Mercer is on SEC Plus. Gardner Webb is SEC Plus. Northern Iowa is SEC Plus. Now, I have a YouTube Live subscription, which means I can, in here, not on the PlayStation, where I have all my streaming services set up on the PS4 Pro. But in here, I'll be able to watch. I should be able to watch every one of those games. So all those games I can watch, we're going to have post-game reactions. I can't wait, man. I'm so giddy. I'm so giddy about this season because I really don't know. I'm not even prepared. I might on Friday, I might give you guys my expectations. Basketball, especially coming out of a year like last year with the kind of turnovers that you have. COVID, I'm telling you, it just made everything crazy. But with these new rules and the super seniors and the grad transfers and basketball, no other sport is going to be affected as much as basketball when it comes to this transfer rules, when it comes to the way these kids can hop around. Basketball is going to be crazy to pick this year. I'm just going to say it. We know they have Arkansas outside the top 15. I think the AP put them at what? Was it 20th? Where'd the AP put Arkansas? Wasn't where we thought it would be. Let's say that. I'm happy to be top 25, though. First time in too long. Preseason AP top 25. But it's hard to pick because you just don't know. Some of these mid-major schools, who knows? They may have gotten a transfer that's a world beater, and we just don't know enough about him. So we'll have to approach that week by week. I'm talking about in terms of where we're at now. If you're going to ask me, Ty, do you think they're a tournament team? Well, we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. But I will, before the 9th, give you guys my expectations for the year based on what we know. Unfortunately, I didn't get to watch either of these exhibitions. I was only able to keep up through the live stat page and kind of what's been out there on Twitter, some of the highlight videos that are out there from the University of Arkansas. But that's not the same as being able to have your eyeballs, on the game and knowing what's going on. It's one thing to hear it. It's another thing, or to read the stat page. It's another thing entirely to watch it. So it's going to be tough this year to pick. I'm not going to lie. I feel like I could be way off, but last year, what did I say? Some of you OGs before the season, I said this is a Sweet 16 caliber team. Turns out they were an Elite 8 caliber team, which, look, you get to the Sweet 16, I think anything can happen. It's all about matchups, especially once you get past the first round of the tournament. But even the first round of the tournament, as we've seen before, matchups matter. This year, that could be the case a little bit more. Last year, I didn't feel like it mattered. I felt like anyone, anywhere, anytime, that team I felt like they were stacked. They had all the options. This year, they're deep, but you feel like they're going to play a little bit smaller, and you kind of wonder about what they're doing at the 1 and the 4 spot. Musselman talked about that being a little bit of a concern. And based on what I've read and what little I've seen, I get it. I kind of feel like I know what he's talking about there. The 1 and 4 are they feel like they might be up in the air a little bit. So we'll see if they solidify that before they get into this Hall of Fame Classic. So, all right, that's going to do it. Shout out to you guys. Woo Pig. I will see you on Wednesday. Only 7 grams of carbs. That's more than 1/3 of my daily intake, and that comes from healthy stuff. Come in, Ty. Be healthy. We want you along, dude. That's not that bad. It's 1. I only drink like 1 every other day. Don't you shame me, James Whittington. Our tournament matchup depends on how good North Carolina is. Has there ever been anything so true said before that comment section? And James, I'm just going to, this one's on you, buddy. I'm thinking of you as I slurp down this delicious monster tea lemonade. But 6 grams of sugar, man. That's not that bad. I mean, hell, a Pepsi has how many grams of sugar? Would love to see Liberty beat Ole Miss 76-56 on the football field. All right, I'll see you guys on Wednesday.